The Energized Show, up the Irish.
Okay, lads, here we go. Okay, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Energized, brought to you by Our Kings Competitions. Ross,
are you intoxicated or something?
Introduce the guest, man.
Today, we are bringing you the face of Oktagon MMA. It is the one and only. It is Denis, the Menace Frimpong. Denis, how are we doing, my friend?
Doing good, mate. Fucking cold is the only thing I was just saying to Baz. Start water loading and then the temperature drops. It's always the way. But other than that, feel good, feel healthy, and looking forward to getting out there this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And Denis, obviously you've moved into the rankings now in Oktagon. Obviously you're going out here to make a statement. You have a bit of pizzazz to you. You know what I mean? You make a bit of noise. You're the villain of Oktagon, one might say, but in the most lovable way for us anyway. Do you think a win here and a finish here could get you into that title talk?
I think a win here, especially a finish, does get me into the title talk. To be honest, I am the title anyway at this stage. I am the money fight, the views fight. I'm on a win streak. I'm the only one in the top 10 in Oktagon that's on a win streak like that in the promotion. So, yeah, people can say whatever they want. Like the title's not vacant. I hold the title, so it's about defending it now after this fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, Denis, I won't disagree with that at all. But I also have to throw in the fact that you actually called us out last week. We put artwork out saying, Denis, you're fighting Gable this Saturday on Oktagon's 76 on the 20th of September. And then we had the ranking number 10 there. And then you were straight in the comments saying ranking number 9. Ross, how did you feel when Denis called us out, man?
Yeah, it's not my fault. I robbed that off Oktagon, so you can take that up with Pavel, right? Yeah, and it's not it won't be the first time. But Denis, I feel like the people are starting to see what you've been saying all along after your last two performances. Like, you went in there and you dismantled Robin Frank. He was 5-0 going into that fight, and then Arjan in the last fight 7-1. You said you were going to break him, and you broke him. And he really actually gave up as much as the TKO was there in the last fight. He wanted out, and he let you get him out there in quick fashion and come the third round. He really did break under your will. Tell us this: does it really feel good to start getting that recognition, getting those big wins over those sort of 5-0 guys, 7-1 guys? Like, you're beating the other up and comers in Oktagon at the moment.
Yeah. So for me, I already knew where I was at skill wise when I was like 1 and 2 on paper or whatever it was that they were saying my record was. I knew where my skill level was at. I knew the guys that I trained with. I knew I could beat all these guys anyway, but they were just using their records and my records as an excuse not to fight me. Oh, you don't deserve to fight me because you're this, that, and the other. Look at my record, blah, 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 blah. And then it's got to a stage now where they have no excuse. When I'm in the rankings, people have to fight me. My record's not as bad as it once was, so people have to fight me. And like, I don't know, I feel like I had a bit of, not to fucking play the victim or whatever, I feel like I had a bit of a hard run at the start of my career. I fought my pro debut in the UAE. Feel like I got robbed in that fight. And that was a bit of a bad start. And then, a couple of fights later, I'm fighting George Staines, who's fucking doing his own thing now. He's 7-0, but he's beaten everyone since. But that was his pro debut on paper. So... people didn't think that he was as good as he is, but I think people now that he's gone and done what he's doing, and I'm doing what I'm doing, people are starting to register that, like, oh yeah, like, he didn't just lose to some fucking bum. So yeah, it's good to get that recognition, but it's not anything new for me. Like, I always recognize where I was at, and I was calling these guys out from a couple of years ago, and they were just swerving it. So.
And I think the way things are going right now for yourself, like obviously you're on the path to the title. Obviously, the Irish in Octagon are few and far between, but the ones that are there are obviously making an outrageous amount of noise. I saw Will Fleury was over in Manchester top team last week with yourselves. He's obviously the heavyweight and light heavyweight champ there, the champ. And then Richie Smullen's fighting Ivan Bunchinger next, and a win there could definitely catapult him towards a title shot as well. Do you think that the Irish could hold, three men could hold 4 of the belts in very quick succession? And it would be very hard not to come back to Ireland if 3 men hold 4 of the belts.
What weight does Brian Manning fight at? Does he fight a welterweight now, or does he fight
he's a
middleweight?
middleweight.
A middleweight. Could probably make welterweight, do you reckon?
I don't know. He just had a Bambino there, so I don't know if...
probably not anytime soon. I reckon he could probably get down to welterweight if he really wanted to. And my ideal scenario is, right, like next year, Richie holds the featherweight belt, I hold the lightweight belt, Brian holds the welterweight belt, Will holds the middle, light heavy, and heavyweight belt. So we've got every belt from featherweight up to heavyweight. Could happen. Right, is doable. I don't know what Brian Manning walks around at, so that's down to him and stuff like that. I don't know if there's any Irish welterweights that could get signed to Oktagon that could take that welterweight belt. But at the very least, we could hold 4 or 5 of the belts. You know what I mean?
100%, and obviously Jack McGuire is there as well, coming back in a bantamweight. I think soon. I think he had to pull out of his fight, but like there are some bantamweights there who I'd love to see Jack McGuire versus Jack Cartwright. I think that'd be an absolute banger of a fight, and that would put him right there in the mix. Yeah,
100%. That would be a good fight for him.
But I suppose with that, Dennis, you always have your eyes on the MMA scene. Which fighters would you love to see get signed to Octagon from the Emerald Isle
in Ireland? I think I'll go up from weights. I think Gary Rooney. Rooney's an up-and-coming flyweight, very experienced amateur. I think he had probably over 25 amateur fights, if I'm not mistaken. Very good jiu-jitsu. Flyweight division's a bit dead in Octagon, to be quite honest with you. It's not very deep. It's not very deep division anywhere, to be honest. There's not a lot of flyweights, but I think Gary Rooney at flyweight. Bantamweight, obviously we've already got Jack. Don't really know many other Irish bantamweights. Maybe Armand getting re-signed, but I don't think he would re-sign with Octagon. Featherweight, obviously we've got Richie, Nahom, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what his buzz is at featherweight. Lightweight, don't know what Jordan Fury's doing these days. He was cutting.
I think he's got a medical issue that he can't fight at the moment.
Okay, well, fair. Conor McCarthy, obviously, as well. But I think he signed to Cage Warriors now on a multi-fight. So, a lot of talent. Let me think. Welterweight. Owen Sheridan at welterweight, maybe? Is he on a multi-fight with PFL? I don't know. I'll be honest. I haven't really kept my ear to the ground as far as unsigned. Early pro guys that are 2-3-0, have 3-4 fights that aren't already signed to a Cage Warriors, or it feels like Cage Warriors do just snap them up. PFL sort of snaps them up before they get to a stage. James Gallagher's a free agent.
There's a big one.
Maybe bantamweight. Yeah,
I'm sure thinking if they came over here, who else can they get on the card type of thing. But I think James Gallagher would be a perfect one to get on the card.
In terms of James Gallagher, big name.
Lee Hammond.
Yeah, he's unsigned.
Probably not something again. Keane Cowley either.
Keane Cowley could be there. He had a bad injury, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. But realistically, that's not going to happen until 2026. If they come to Ireland, so
at least, yeah. So yeah. There's a lot of names. I don't know. Do we have many heavyweights? Brian Draper, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of guys that could bang on the card. I mean, the issue is on a business perspective, it has to make sense for them, not just on fighter quality. You could be the sickest fighter, but they're not arsed if you're not going to sell tickets at the end of the day.
100%.
I've
Well, I
never
suppose
thought-
with James Gallagher as a proven ticket seller in
Yeah.
Dublin.
Yeah. I mean, I've never fought in the Republic of Ireland. I know I do a good few tickets just because of the length of time that it's been since I've actually fought in Ireland, and I've never fought in the Republic. So a lot of people have been waiting a long time to actually come and watch me fight in Dublin. Because there is that just like years of build up to it. Will Fleury will do a few numbers, and yeah, I think me and Will spoke about it recently, just while he was up here. That I don't know. I feel like the Irish fans aren't really getting behind Irish MMA as much as they should, as much as they could, and as much as like the German fans do. For example, like they're, Max Holzer's got like 190k followers. That fucking Freddie Vosgrone's got like 500,000. Do you know what I mean? They're just getting behind any German fighter that's not even that good necessarily. Like Freddie Vosgrone's dirt. Like, how's he got 500k followers?
Do you think if Oktagon maybe did one of those deals the way like PFL and UFC have done in the past, where like they air on Virgin Media when the Irish fighters are fighting, a deal like that will give you that bit more spotlight. It would give you that bit more traction, and then like then the public can watch it. Because I think one of the issues is because it's on the zone, not everyone sort of has the zone, and then sometimes
I don't think that's the issue. To be quite honest with you, being honest, I think what the issue is that Irish sports fans, because obviously you have your diehard MMA fans, right? They're not what pays the bills. Sports fans that watch sports as a whole are what pays the bills, and I think they've become a bit disenfranchised and a bit disingenuous with MMA just because of the antics of some of our MMA fighters. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's be honest, Irish MMA, who do you associate it with?
Denis Frimpong.
I mean, now, but like historically, like there's only one name, and as much as it's helped to build the sport in Ireland in terms of getting us to the point of having a lot of talent coming out and having a lot of gyms open up and having a lot of
but I think it comes down to combat sports in general. Like not to go too off topic, but like Lewis Crocker fought Paddy Donovan at the weekend, massive fight in Belfast for an IBF world title, and RTE pretended it didn't happen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
I was out on Saturday night, and like the pub I was in had like so many screens, but they were all showing the Chelsea Brentford game. So like I had to like get the Crocker Donovan fight on my phone.
I do think that like there's more factors to it. Obviously, the Grab All Association have a lot to do with it. They don't want other sports coming in, taking their talents, taking their views, taking their tickets. So that has a bit to do with it. Because I remember from the track and field days when I used to do running, they would block everything to do with any other sport. Like, it's like they want everyone to just be on the ga, whether it's hurling or football. And it's like even the politicians are saying that MMA is voyeuristic and pornographic. Do you know what I mean? So,
I've never heard anyone else describe it like that, but all right, fair enough.
A TD described it as that a few years back when they were talking about like kids at the IMAFs. And I was like, that's a bit of a mad thing to say about kids MMA. Like,
yeah,
weird guy. But so like when you've got that sort of mentality and that sort of mindset, it's not going to get the push, is it, that like rugby gets, say, or like GAA gets. And football obviously is like well cemented over the years. So I don't know what the solution is to it, where you could get, because realistically for Oktagon to come to Ireland, they need to be pretty sure that they're going to at least do 70% of the 3 arena.
Yeah, they need to sell at least 10,000. They need to sell at least 10,000 tickets.
I don't mean, there's 10,000 people there, but they've given 8,000 tickets away. Like, I mean, they've sold 10,000 tickets, maybe, fill the rest out with some VIP passes, etc., and get enough people down. But will they get that?
Yeah, but I think they need to lean heavily into the media when they're doing that. Like the way Bellator had like the Lewis with the Bellator sign going up and down and stuff like that, and like get yourselves, Will Fleury, Richie Smullen, like into all the radio stations in advance, like
Irish champs.
on the TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like really they need to invest into that aspect of it and make sure that people are aware of it and are talking about it. You know?
Yeah. And I think with 3 Irish champs, like a double champ and 2 champs, like it'll be a lot easier to do that. I do. But yeah, let's see what the future holds. For now, like I'm just focused on absolutely battering this guy this weekend, and then we'll see. You know, like once those belts start coming home, maybe even we do a little tour with the belts and stuff like that. Like maybe then people will get behind it a little bit when they see what Oktagon actually brings. Because, like, being honest, in terms of production, in terms of the show, Oktagon are up there with the UFC. You know,
no, they're quality.
Yeah,
Denis, you're obviously fighting in Frankfurt this Saturday at Oktagon 76. Like, what's the capacity for that arena for?
I want to say 15,000, 16,000, something like that. The Festhalle, I'm pretty sure it's like 15,000.
And of course, you versus Peter Gable is obviously the people's main event, isn't it, Ross?
Oh, absolutely. You're like no doubt about it. I'm sure Will Fleury you'd be watching Vazgron in the co-main event, ducking him and then fighting someone else. So that would be very, very interesting.
Vazgron's fighting a bum. Like Attila Korkmaz is fighting a late replacement bum. That Weichel, who's the main event, is about 45 years old. Like, yeah, he's a star in Germany and stuff, but he's about fucking 45 years old, mate.
James Hendon's on the card. He's good.
James Hendon is good. James Hendon is good. Who else have we got?
But he does not bring the noise like Denis Frimpong.
No,
he doesn't, does he? He's a quiet guy. But I do really like James, and I think he's really, really underrated, criminally underrated. He's a very good fighter.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you see this one going, Denis? How to get your hand raised come Saturday night?
I've been saying I'm going to TKO him, but actually I do want to submit him. I want him to take a way out of there, and I feel like when you get TKO'd or knocked out, like you don't have a say in the matter. But when you submit, you choose to tap, and I feel like I want to break him and just say like, listen, you can have a way out of here. Here's your way out, and I want him to tap. And I think that will be the end of his Oktagon career. So it doesn't really matter to me anyway. As long as I get the finish, I'm not really that arsed. I get a finish. I've got to be in the title picture then, you know.
And Denis, obviously, last time out when after your win back in May, you were quite emotional on the mic after. Like, what can people expect to hear from Denis the Menace Frimpong in his post-fight victory speech?
Last time, obviously, I was taking a big risk being out there. Could have missed the Burton kid. You know, it was like 2 days before the due date or something like that.
Yeah,
the fight was. So I was really taking a risk. I obviously had to contain that for the entire camp, especially the last few weeks of it. So yeah, when you've done that and then you fucking win the fight and someone brings it up, then you're like, oh, that comes out. I won't be that emotional this time. I'm definitely going to be a lot more like myself and a lot more ready to call some people out and say what I'm thinking about some of these German fighters that keep pulling out of fights. But yeah, I'm just gonna go with it. Like I don't really pre-plan a lot of that stuff. It's just like what's in the moment. I'm gonna be full of adrenaline anyway. I'm just gonna say some mad shit, aren't I?
That's why you have to make sure to check out Denis Frimpong back in action this Saturday, live in the zone at Oktagon 76. Denis, is there anything you want to say to the
Frimpong massive?
The Frimpong army.
Yeah. Shout out our King's competitions. Where's my sponsorship, pal?
Yeah, where is it, Mark?
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't see you sponsoring any other Oktagon fighters, so you might as well get the name in Germany now while it's still warming up.
We love it, Paul. We love it.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
everyone, definitely be sure to catch the fight. Everyone get the pay-per-view. They can see where the pay-per-views are bought from and where people are watching from. So if there's enough people watching, it might spark their interest to actually expand into Ireland then, you know, do an Irish show.
Love it. Exactly. Love it. Get off the dodgy box for once, lads.
Dennis, thank you very much for your time. Best of skill this weekend, and we'll let you get on with the
Nice
rest
one.
of your day, bud.
Nice one
All
for
the
having
best,
me,
bud.
boys. Yeah,
Have a good
thank
one.
you.
The Energized Show, up the Irish.
So, Ross, that was Denis Frimpong. Your favourite Frimpong, man.
Yeah, look, he's carrying the Irish flag over in Oktagon along with the others that we discussed. So, yeah, definitely make sure to check him out. He's very entertaining guy.
Very, very entertaining. So,
And
if
he can
you
do
are
it in the cage as well. He can do it in the cage. Let's not get it twisted.
exactly, man. So, if you are new to the Energized Show, make sure to like and subscribe because we are here every week, Ross.
Absolutely, every week, and we're going from one person who makes a lot of noise to another. Tonight, as this episode drops, you will see Paddy McCurry fighting on Dana White's Contender Series. The Fight Academy Ireland prospect. He is fighting against, now let me see if I can get this name correct. He is fighting against Inso Huang. So he's an 8-1 fighter, but if I look at his record, he's 7-1 on the road to UFC or road to FC, road FC. Jeez, butchering that, but like his last couple of wins, 6-7 guy, 13-7 guy, 2-0 guy, 7-5 guy. I expect Paddy McCurry to be levels above this guy come fight night, and I expect Paddy McCurry to get him out of there, emphatic finish, and to be the first ever Irishman to be signed from Dana White's Contender Series.
Yeah, that'll be a big feather in the cap.
Yeah, well, historic moment. You know, there's been a lot of Irish fighters who've been in the UFC. No one's taken the Dana White's Contender Series road, and he's going to be the first one, unless Lonnie Cavan is there, so waving an Irish flag somewhere.
Very fair point. Very fair point. So, Ross, over the weekend, the UFC Noche was on. In the main event, Diego Lopez defeated Chen Silva, and I guessed this one correctly. How disappointed are you, man?
Very disappointed. Very me. But look, Diego Lopez, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place, I think, because obviously he just recently lost to Volkanovski, the champ. But he is sitting there, number 2 contender. Looking at people who could fight next, I think what they probably should have done for this UFC Noche main event, it should have been Diego Lopez versus Yair Rodriguez. Have that Mexican flair from Yair Rodriguez. Although they're a big fan of Diego Lopez, so I think they wanted him to be cheered, despite the fact he's Brazilian, as the sort of the Noche guy. But I think the other one is Mozavar Evloev. I think that could be the fight for Diego Lopez next. That was 3 fights ago for Evloev that he beat Diego Lopez. But Diego Lopez has actually gone 6-1 since the last fight. Evloev has gone 2-0. So it just goes to show the activity of Diego Lopez. And I think that activity should be rewarded with a number 1 contender fight, because I want to see Lerone Murphy fight Volkanovski next for the featherweight strap. After that spinning back elbow knockout, I think Lerone Murphy deserves that shot.
Yeah, Denis Frimpong's teammate, Lerone Murphy. At the moment on the Energized Show, we have a poll out. Who is next for Diego? And the options were either Yair Rodriguez or Movsar Evloev. Ross, what do you think the percentages are as we speak right now?
I just don't see people actually voting for Mozavar, so I'm gonna say Rodriguez is at 72%.
57% Yair Rodriguez, 42% Movsar Evloev. Ross.
I just don't like, despite the fact it probably should be Evloev, I just don't think no one really wants to vote to see him fight. Like more of a decision merchant than Brian Manning an amateur career. Brian Manning loves that.
Everyone loves a good decision merchant, man.
Yeah,
Everyone
loves that. Absolute knockout machine at pro, decision merchant at amateur.
Then this weekend, the UFC is taking a weekend off, especially because of all the promotion they were doing for Noche and the boxing that went down over the weekend, which we will be getting into shortly. But the UFC is back on the 28th as Carlos Ulberg faces Dominic Reyes, and we will be discussing that next week along with ADCC Dublin and Cage Wars 194 Dublin. Because
let's be honest, Dominic Reyes versus Carlos Ulberg is getting about 2 lines worth of mention next week's show.
I know, exactly. But as we speak right now, we will have dropped the Energized face-off between Keith Keogh and Damien McKenna. So I'll link that at the end of this show, because that is what people are calling the people's main event, and we 100% agree with that. But speaking of CMAC over the weekend at Aries Fighting Championship in Paris. Jordan Bradshaw got his second victory in a row in France. Ross, Jordan Bradshaw, another win for the CMAC athlete.
Yeah, he was very clinical over there. He seemed to be able to do it all. He puts together his game very, very well. Like a lot of the CMAC fighters, he is a technician in there. He does everything very precisely. Walked away with a unanimous decision win. Felt like it was a perfect fight week for him. Felt like he conducted himself really, really well, carried himself well, and went in there, did the business, and even the post fight call out that you sort of see them do the UFC corridor walk, saying that he wants to go back down to a bantamweight and he wants to get back out there again. He wants that activity. So let's give it to him. Let's see. I'd love to see him one more before the end of the year with Aries. But look, Aries put on a very professional show. And again, we say it all the time. It's cool to have our Irish athletes. Even if there's just one on the show, they get a lot of eyeballs on them because they're the only one fighting that weekend. So shout out to Jordan Bradshaw, shout out to CMAC. Absolute clinic put on by him and his team.
Yeah, no, it's also cool to see other promotions, just see what they do as well, how they promote the Irish fighters, because you can see that they're big fans of Jordan Bradshaw. And then over the weekend as well, Cage Warriors 193 was going down in Newcastle. In the build-up to the fight, Jordan Neal from Fight Academy Ireland was meant to be fighting, but his opponent missed but weight by, I think it was a stone.
6 kilos. 6 kilos. It's about 13 pounds.
So
I think he weighed 198 pounds.
And then, so he couldn't get an opponent in at that soon as well. He was looking to get on the Cage Warriors Dublin show, but he's been told that the card is full at the moment, so who knows what will happen. So we'll keep you updated on that. But Matthew Elliott fought on the card in the first fight of the night and lost by decision. Ross, what would you like to see Matthew Elliott do next, man?
I think I don't think it's that much of a devastating loss, really. He sort of alluded to himself that, the game plan or the implementation of the game plan maybe wasn't the best of the night. I don't think the best Matthew Elliott showed up, because we all know on this island that Matthew Elliott has the skills to pay the bills. He's a top of range wrestler. He's probably the best wrestler in the country at featherweight. And, he's obviously, his hands have improved significantly. I thought he lost round 1. I thought he very handily won round 2. He got on top. He would land some massive elbows and lost for the game down to round 3. I don't think it would be too much argued that Alexis won round 3. But also, if someone said Matthew Elliott won round 3, I wouldn't be, saying they were dead wrong about that either. It was a close fight. Matthew Elliott really, I don't think his stock has gone down too much from the loss. But I'd love to see him back in there again sooner rather than later. Maybe he gets on the Rome card, maybe he gets on the London card after that. But I'd love to see him back out there against another featherweight soon, because he's definitely someone not to be underestimated in that division.
No, agreed. And then, right, Ross, before we get into your fighting championships that went down on Sunday, we have to talk about the action that went down on Saturday. I know we already mentioned the UFC, but there was 2 big boxing events going on around the world. One in Windsor Park up in Northern Ireland, and the other in America in Texas. So we're going to have to start the one at Windsor Park. Obviously, in the main event, Lewis Crocker defeated Paddy Donovan by decision. Ross, what did you make of the decision, and also what did you make of the card itself?
Yeah, well, obviously, I think at the end of the day, Crocker got 2 knockdowns, and I think that's what swayed the scorecards his way. Also, he was the hometown fighter as well, and I know people say it shouldn't make a difference where you fight, but let's call a spade a spade. It does. Some people still thought Donovan won. I don't know. I'm not an expert when it comes to scoring boxing. I thought Crocker did enough, but again, who am I to say what's right or wrong? But all I know, it was a spectacular event in Windsor Park, massive arena. The place looked so full. The walkouts looked great. It was a phenomenal event, and I feel like the media, the mainstream media in Ireland, should have done a better job to cover the event. I know it was on the Zone and it wasn't on the Irish channels, but maybe that's something that we need to look at going forward. When the big Irish fights are on over here, anywhere in the country, they should be on. They should be on terrestrial TV, as they say. Again, also Tyrone McKenna versus Dylan Moore, another absolute war. Tyrone McKenna getting the second win over Dylan Moore. Cuivan Ahurgu, he was knocked down, I think, in either the last or second last round. But he picked up the win there. And then Meatball Molly McCann, her opponent thought she was doing a bit of MMA, even tried to throw an LT kick at her at one stage. She also got her hand raised. So look, overall, great night of boxing. Great for the Irish fans, and I'd love to see more of it. Hopefully Eddie Hearn keeps on bringing shows back to the 3 Arena. Back to Windsor Park. Again, we also saw Mike Conlon there get a win there recently down the 3 Arena. Boxing is booming in the country at the moment, and I hope we continue to give our platform from stars. And then just to touch on that, Irish boxing, we'll go all over to Texas. In the co-main event, Callum Walsh got another win. Got his hand raised there in that fight. So shout out to Callum Walsh. I feel like he's no longer seen as this like random boxing guy who UFC are pushing, and it seems to be a bit weird that they're pushing him. I see him now as highly regarded boxer, well respected amongst the boxing community, and he'll probably be fighting for a world title in his next 3 fights at this age. I think he's 15-0 now, so he can't be too far off that world title, and he's definitely one to keep an eye on. You up Callum Walsh, you up the King, you up Cork.
No, it was Callum Walsh has definitely stepped out of that sort of Dana White shadow, being a co-main event for Canelo Crawford.
It doesn't really get much bigger than that for someone, you know what I mean? Like anyone, maybe bar 3 or 4 boxers in the world would play co-main event to that. Yeah. I mean, maybe bar a few of the heavyweights. I can't think of anyone outside the heavyweights who would top Canelo Crawford. Sure, Canelo's probably still the biggest draw in the sport, you know. Incredible to see, especially on Noche weekend.
And then in the main event, Ross, Crawford defeated Canelo. This one you actually got right, man. First one of the year. Congratulations. How do you feel?
Yeah, I didn't actually realize how much bigger Canelo was meant to be than Crawford. Like that just goes to show my casualness when it comes to boxing. But from listening to people, some analysts talk about Crawford's boxing, separate to listening to people talk about Canelo's boxing, I was like, but no, Crawford just seems to be the pound for pound number 1 fighter in the world, according to a lot of people. So he seems to be the guy. I think when he beat was it Errol Spence so like handily, I was like, yeah, Jesus, like Errol Spence is supposed to be, it was supposed to be like who's better than these guys, and Crawford absolutely smashed him. Also, I think, you know, Crawford's got walked through by Eminem before, so like once you get walked through by Eminem, you're like absolute GOAT status. So for me, that's where it's at. And obviously Canelo's lost a few fights, so I feel like there's a blueprint there to beat him. You know, Crawford's now 42-0. There's no blueprint there, and you have to think, does Crawford sit there and think, you know what, that 50-0 that Mayweather have, will I go 51-0 and you know, sort of steal that thunder from him? Because if you think about it, he's 42-0. Think of how big a name Terence Crawford could have if he wins another 8 big fights.
To be honest, I hadn't actually thought about that until you said it right there. That's definitely something.
Like
that
8 big fights is a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like at the moment, I feel like this, in a way, was Terence Crawford's sort of coming out party. This was his chance to be, you know, have that massive name and to be like recognized as, you know, the elite that he is. The only thing I will say is he is 37, and if he is getting that amount of money, that he just got, like I assume he well cleared $50 million there on that last fight. If he, you know what I mean, another $850 million would be 400 million. Like, does he really need 400 million? Like, and like God only knows what he's earned so far. And also, he doesn't really like what's your man's name? Turkey. Sheikh Turkey. He's had a bit of back and forth, hasn't he? That he's not. I think Sheikh Turkey's a bit like with the box. He's like, dance for me, boys, dance for me. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, he got booed. He got booed when he got people at the event as well.
Yeah, he doesn't really like that. And look, I'm sure he's made a few quid already. Like he's fought Amir Khan, he's fought Kell Brook, he's fought Errol Spence Jr., he's fought Benavidez Jr. He's definitely got a few million for those fights as well. So the 50-0 would be incredible, but who knows? At 37, will he fight 8 more times?
But he has 7 kids, man. I like that. Having kids these days isn't cheap. You know yourself, but
you know yourself.
No, it was actually a great night for like combat sports. And it will be very interesting to see, because Canelo said after the fight that Crawford's better than Mayweather as well. So we will see. Then I want to also give a shout out to Dean Barry, who was back in action over the weekend. He was fighting in what would you call it? Total Combat. Total Combat as well. You got the victory there as well. And then also there's a huge domestic Irish Muay Thai fight going down this week as well. It's Kyo versus Barry. That's going down on Saturday as well. Some of the promo videos they put out have been like hilarious, very, very funny.
And Tom Kyo is the guy to beat at the moment in this country.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's Dara Barry.
Okay.
So make sure we'll share some of the reels during the week, because they're very, very funny. And that's it. That's how you get people interested, man. For Irish on Irish fights, man.
Also, RIP to the Hitman as well.
Yeah, shout out to Ricky the Hitman Hatton as well. Absolute legend. Very sad news. Very sad. Okay, Ross, before we end the show, we have to discuss Decky McAleenan's Your Fighting Championships that went down in the Canal Court Hotel on Sunday. There were 2 title fights on the card, and plenty of amateur fights as well. But there was loads of finishes, Ross. If the people didn't see it, they were all over the Energized Show's Instagram page. Ross, what you make of the event, bud?
Yeah, it was an absolutely brilliant event from start to finish. Obviously, the degenerates we are. We didn't get enough combat sports action on Saturday night, so we got some again on Sunday. I'm going to start with the main event and work backwards. Well, the main event was actually Matthew O'Rourke versus Caleb Leach. Matt O'Rourke actually missed weight by 1 kilo, so he actually vacated his title, but he still got the win. But Leach was fighting for the title on the night. He ended up landing some really heavy shots to the head and the body to finish off Leach. O'Rourke shown he is a veteran of the Irish MMA scene. He is definitely one not to be missed. Shane Dunn, this man will only fight for titles. That's 3 titles in 3 different promotions in a row. He got the job done. He got the nod over Adrian Barrow for the bantamweight title. Shane Dunn is definitely one on the radar. He's the only man who brought home gold tonight, and those new Euro belts look absolutely delightful. So, shout out to him. That was really, really good. Submission of the night for me goes to Little Rig Aaron Henry. He got a knee bar come against, I think it was Peter O'Reilly. That was very, very impressive. Ryan Kelly, brother of Darragh Kelly, the Moville Mauler, got a rear naked choke over Shane Smith. But I have to give a shout out to Shane Smith. First amateur fight in 14 years, Basmo.
I saw that and I was like, is that right?
I know, yeah. Insane stuff. Kicked off the card. Ben Bang Bang Harden. What a guy. I feel like he's been around the scene for years. He got a rear naked choke as well. That was really, really impressive. Have to give a massive shout out to him. Also want to give a shout out to Ailish Noonan, who got a TKO finish. Always important to give the old females a shout out. They've been very, very impressive. And then Nathan Taco Chambers as well, picking up sub win, as well as Tom Mallon picking up sub wins. Again, all the finishes are on the Energized page. Go have a look at them. But great night of fights over at your Fighting Championships. Really, really impressive to see. And again, Max Mahaffey picking up the win on a week's notice. That man loves a short notice fight. He is a young prodigy. He's only 17. Picked up a unanimous decision win. Close to a few submissions along the way as well. But no, if you're looking for any combat sports content that's Irish, where would you go? Where would you go?
You have to check out the Energized Show's Instagram page, and we are here every week putting out shows. So just wrapping things up this week, Paddy McCurry fights on Danny White's Contender Series on Tuesday night, and then this Saturday we had the man on. Denis the Menace Frimpong is fighting at Oktagon 76 on Saturday. Also, there is that Muay Thai event, Kyo versus Barry. That is definitely not to be missed. And next week we are back. We're going to be breaking down all the action from this week. And also next week, PFL France is going down on Friday the 26th. Darragh Kelly is fighting, so is Kyle O'Sullivan. As we said, the UFC is on. ADCC Ireland is going down in DCU. We will be there. And then also Cage Wars 194 Dublin will also be there. Ross, Anything else you want to say before we wrap up this very energized show?
Just want to say, if you're not following us on socials, get over there now because things are hotting up in the Irish MMA industry. Get over there. It's like us on socials. And if you do get the chance, make sure to like, share, and subscribe on these videos. It means the world to us. It helps us provide a better platform for the athletes. And as always, stay energized.
The Energized Show, up the Irish. It's the face that runs the place, Chaos Curtis. I want to thank the Irish MMA community so much for getting behind me. Yup the Chaos Cartel.